we're going to get some notes.
Well, I found them.
You can take notes, Diana. That'd be great.
There should be more in the cupboard.
Typically, I teach classes so that we can get high, so that we can make our humans go into this place of soul love and soul pleasure, and so that we can just raise our vibration to the point of total bliss, right? Today is about doing the opposite. We're going to bring divinity down. We're going to bring our consciousness down into our flesh, okay? That being said, everything that wants to resist will. You need to consciously relax your abdomen, consciously relax your shoulders, consciously unclench your jaw. Put your phone on silent. It will ring, even if it's off, okay? Please. Your ego is so powerful, and it is threatened by being looked at. It's been taught to feel threatened when it's looked at. Feel that when you're threatened. You're going to do whatever you can so that you're safe. That's what the ego is here for, to protect us, okay? To make us feel safe, to make us survive. So shadow work is one way that we can go into our darkness, and the more shadow you have, the more light you have. Please know that you are in power when you willingly face your shit. Okay? So life gives us events to make us feel things. Life manifests breakups. They manifest job losses. Nature's just happening. What we're going to do today is learn a technique that will, say nature would have to happen for 2 years. You will feel that and dissolve those potentials within 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 hours. What I'm teaching you is how to consciously suffer so that you can expedite your evolution here on Earth. So you can get closer to your Dharma faster. So you can incarnate your soul's nature faster. It's not for everybody. So if you're here, so much has happened for you to be here. Honor it and be here. Receive this. Okay? I would like to start with the opening prayers of the Mahajrya Buddhist Tradition. Mahajrya is what I'm ordained in. And it's nice to invoke any space that will involve this type of work with safety, with consciousness. You don't want to just go into the shadow with you could just be like, yeah! And just fucking go in it. But we do want to have some precautions, we want to be responsible about this. So let's be responsible. And this is going to be a co-created experience, okay? So my consciousness has already been penetrating this space. It's going to, now I'm going to invite you and your higher self to be present. If you don't know what that is, you don't need to know. It's a feeling. Let yourself be guided by your own wisdom. I am just the vessel. You are your own master. Okay? So, the first prayer I'd like to chant is from the Ganesha line. Can you hear me any better? I'm trying to project. Oh, man. Next time I'll wear headphones.
It's only when your energy goes down and you're doing the soft, subtle things and you turn your head a little bit away from the camera this way. I can't hear those undertone emotions.
Yeah. Well, you'll receive what you receive, dear.
It'll be
Thank you for
okay.
being here. I'm gonna try to.
You're doing fine. I will just listen as hard as I can. It'll be okay. You sound good most of the time. I'm catching most of it. It's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your hair.
Thank you.
So the first
I like
prayer
yours
that
too.
I'm going to invoke in this room is from the Ganesha line. Ganesha is from the Hindu tradition, and gender non-binary, what she represents is elimination of obstacles. So we start with this mantra whenever we go into an evolutionary geared practice, because what we feel like we need is obstacles. That it's an illusion. From the soul, from the divine planes, there are no obstacles. We are bigger than them. Anything it's sort of like if you write down anything that's bothering you, and then underneath it put source is greater than that. God is greater than that. My higher self is greater than that. That really, we can't get stuck in a mental construction of what we are. I'm telling you, you are more than what you think you are in this room. You're more than your body. You're more than the experiences that make up your life. Okay? You are sovereign. You are divine. And Ganesh shows us that we can move through life at a steadfast way, steadfast pace. Okay? So imagine you're a big-ass elephant, and you're moving at a steady pace. Someone's trying to hit you, you just keep going. Someone's blocking you in the road, you keep going. You elevate beyond the perception of an obstacle. Y'all with me? Om Jaya Shri Ganesh, Om Jaya Shri Ganesh, Om Jaya Shri Ganesh. Om Jaya Shri Ganesh, Om Jaya Shri Ganesh, Om Jaya Shri Ganesh. Om Jaya Shri Ganesh, Om Jaya Shri Ganesh, Om Jaya Shri Ganesh. Thank you for being here, Ganesh. It's because we ate chocolate together that one time, isn't it? So Ganesh loves sweets, and if you're like wanting to get on Ganesh's good side, you can just say, "Hey Ganesh, take over my tongue, honey. Take over my body, and taste this as I taste it." And that's it. Okay. The next prayer that I'm going to invoke in this space is. The next prayer is about the Holy Trinity, and it is invoking, again, that divine aspect. When I say divine, okay, what I'm talking about is the source of nothingness. So if we have to define something, we are out of that source. Does that make so? If in the beginning there was void, there was nothing, and it had a desire to experience something, okay? And so there's this perceived separation from void, because now there's a distinction, right? If there's just my fist, there's a distinction. Oh man, now there's a finger. It looks like there's a fist and a finger, right? But because right? So the naming of it makes it feel like it's separated, right? The naming of it is separated. So when we invoke the Holy Trinity, we're declaring, hey, by the way, I know I'm part of the source. Okay? I want this to be in my fucking bones. I want the Trinity to be sounding in my voice. I want it to be animating my body. Because when we do that, it's considered like complete union between divine and human. And that's the goal. That's what we're aiming for. We're not denying the human in shadow work. We're not denying the ego in shadow work. We are embracing it. You can't cut the ego off. I'm going a little bit, I'm ranting. I'm just excited. But you can't cut the ego off. You can't cut consciousness in half. You can only envelop consciousness into consciousness, into consciousness. You cannot deny the ego. So all these fucking light workers who are like, hey, I'm not the ego. You have to, the ego is what ascends. It's what evolves. Should I just do the prayers and not explain them as I go along? Maybe I'll just do the prayers and not explain them. But that's the next prayer. Okay.
I love the depth. You just keep going, girl.
You like the depth? Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it all day.
Well, the ladies are in for it, so gentlemen, just brace yourselves. Grab your members. Here we go. Okay. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Breathe. Release. Next prayer, Divine Feminine. This is a feeling of being embraced, a feeling of complete creatrix. Like, if you feel like so the human construct of what a mom is, right? Nourishing, caring. Multiply that by like infinity. And that is what Divine Mother is. Divine Mother takes care of you in every moment, whether you acknowledge it or not. You are being taken care of. It is such a luxury to have the ability to be here in this space together right now, to be studying this. It's so cool. Okay. Divine Feminine. Om Bhurva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. This next prayer is about severing anything that makes us deny our sovereign selves. Om Triyambakam Yayamahe Sugandhi Pushvivadanam Urva Rukamiva Bandhanam Rityo Mukshiyamam Ritat. Om Suklam Bhararam Vishnaham Sashivanam Chatubhujam Prasanavadanam Diyaye Sarva Vinopashantaye. Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanamana Anisam Anekanandanam Bhaktanam Mekandanam Upasmahe. I invoke the medicine Buddha to give us the medicine in the exact ways in which we need it. Om Namo Bhagavate Beshaje Guru Vaidurya Prabharajaheya Tathagataya Rate Samyak Sambudaya Tharyata Om Beshaje Beshaje Maha Beshaje Beshaje Raja Samurgate Svaha. And in our minds, in our hearts, in our bodies, no conflict, no resistance, complete acceptance. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. and such gratitude to Mahajrya, the land, a field, an open field of consciousness for us to dip our toes in, for life, for compassion, and for Dharma. Trudanya Mahajrya Hijiva Karuna Yana Chadharma. Breathe. Two more, we're almost done. Okay, Krishna. Krishna is a master of pleasure and devotion and partying it up. And what he taught us is non-action, meaning you act in a way where you do not need to know what the outcome is. So frequently, we do things for a gain. We do things for love. We do things for attention. What Krishna taught us is how to be in service without knowing how many people are going to show up to the class, without knowing what the effect of the teaching is, because it's beyond us. It's not about our localized experience. It is about Brahma evolving. It's about God evolving, Mother Nature growing, moving, becoming more in love with itself, more integrated into itself. Get it? Feel it? Krishna is also tangible. So go in your skin, Dennis. Your fucking skin cells, man. Ready? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Touch yourselves. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare. Open your hearts. Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Make sure you breathe. And finally, I welcome the presence of Green Tara. Her mantra, Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha, pierces through, once again, any resistance, goes right to the core, right to our truth. Okay, really try to be as conscious as you can with me right now. Aware of your body, aware of this space. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha, Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha, Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Alrighty. So, why are we learning about the masks of the ego? Because the masks of the ego give us a path. It gives us a path to navigating where our suffering comes from. Why do we suffer? Why do we suffer? So silly. It wastes a lot of time. So, let us study the mechanics of what inside of us believes that we deserve to suffer, okay? Okay, so I've gone over the 10 planes of being in a way. That was the introduction. Next, the 10 planes of being. So I said that you are more than what you think you are, right? I said you are more than this body, okay? Your body is physical, it's energetic, you have emotions, and you think, okay? Beyond that, you are wisdom, you are consciousness, and you are causality. You are non-physical, living a physical experience. You are a soul having a human experience. Does that make sense? Okay. Beyond that, you are the Trinity. You are the Holy Spirit. You are the creation. You are the creator. Okay? You can't be separated from the fucking stuff you came from. Okay? Seriously. It's really not possible to be separated from the source. And I'm saying it in this comedic way because after this class, the karma that we're going to build will test you. You will be tested how much you've really incarnated that statement, what I just said. You can't be separate. We're dancing over there. Cutie pie. You can't be separate. Okay? So what is the identity? What is the personality? It's you, but you're also the original, the origin. Okay? Do we have any questions? I know, I'm going everywhere. Do you have any questions, dear? We're gonna take a break here in a minute.
Energy,
Okay, so
emotion. I'm hearing you.
Say those words with me. Emotional integration. What does that mean? We are energy in motion. Energy in motion. Sadness, orgasms, joy, love, energy in motion hitting the nervous system, communicating a message of pleasure or discomfort. That is what emotions are. We are integrating them into our consciousness. Dennis, get your fucking phone and put it in the toilet, my friend. I am here for you. What is so important on that phone? Nothing. We have this moment. I'm sorry to be severe with you, sir.
Okay, I deserve it.
We have only here and now. Oh. If I could shit on command, I would shit on your phone.
Get him.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 years of studying psychology and sociology and consciousness. I'm trying to wrap it up in one afternoon together. You're not here with me. Why aren't you here with me? That right there. That's what we're studying. Why don't we want to be here? Why don't we want to be here?
I'm here for you.
Part of us doesn't want to be here. Not just here in this room. Here in this world. Connect with that. Moments where you're like, I don't want to be alive right now. Okay, that is the arrogance of the ego telling you that you're not exactly where you're supposed to be. It's the ignorance of the ego telling you you're not God in this world. It's arrogance and it's ignorance. I'm calling it out because we all obey it. We all obey it. And when we can sit and when we can do this practice, okay, we take the power back. We take the power back. All right? So, Sakyamuni Buddha. Do we know Buddha? That's one of his heads. Buddha came in different sizes. Buddha was actually like John, like a name that was used a lot. So when I say Buddha, I mean Shakyamuni Buddha, who taught us the Four Noble Truths. And that is what the four-step process that we're going to learn today is all about. It's based off of the Four Noble Truths. And then we're going to take a little break. Okay? Last with me these last few minutes, and then you can fuck around on your phone. All right? So, the first noble truth. There is suffering. And we just experienced it together by just pinpointing that which doesn't want to be here. First noble truth is there is suffering. The second noble truth, there is a cause to suffering. Something causes us to suffer. You're all doing so good. Thank you so much. See, Dennis, the karma of you being on your phone made everyone pay attention more. You're a blessing. You're a goddamn blessing. Okay. Now, the third noble truth. Jacob's like, who is this woman? Okay. The third noble truth is there is an end to suffering. If there can be a cause to it, then there can be an end to it. An end to suffering. Fourth noble truth. There is no suffering. If your suffering has a cause, it has an end, then therefore it is not true. It's not there. I'm not gaslighting you. I suffer all the time. These are the Four Noble Truths, and we're going to move on throughout this afternoon together, understanding how we get from step 1 to step 4. Okay? 5 minutes. Please go pee. Touch yourselves. We'll be right back. Okay? Thank you. Drink some water too, please.
She looks like yours. She's like, it's mine, but you will have a dog like that. I will. I just like taking her on a plane and everything. Oh. I really love poodles, but I didn't know I loved like random poodles.
Oh my gosh, I love you. Yeah, you're right. Why am I managing? How's it going so far, cutie pie? Okay. I told Jacob I'm managing all the different consciousness levels. He's like, sexy to say. I'm like, I love bubbles. Okay, what are we doing next? Oh, we're gonna do the oceans next. Everyone came back. That's a good sign.
Dennis had nice things to say about you.
Oh,
After
yeah?
that,
After I yelled at him about his phone usage,
after you're gonna shit on his phone. I deserve that.
we still have 2 minutes, dear. That's why it's not. Step 1, breathe. Breathing is something that we do automatically, something that we can also manipulate. As slow as you breathe is as slow as life will go. Breathe deep. Breathe slow. Breathing is a physical act of being here, of being present. As soon as we feel like we're out of the moment, as soon as we feel anxious or stressed, we can breathe. Breathe deep. Have a relationship with the breath. What does that mean? Have a relationship. Study the breath. When does it get shallow? When does it get long? What does it feel like to breathe in through your nose? Do your nostrils get cold? Do you feel when you breathe in that your body interacts with the breath? Notice how the body and the breath have a relationship. Let's inhale together. Exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Soon the environment will go with the rhythm that you breathe. Be conscious that you are breathing. The step one has two parts to it. Not only are we breathing and lengthening the breath, but we are conscious that we are conscious of the breath. Imagine that you are watching yourself breathe. Focus. This is consciousness, to be aware that you are aware. Watching yourself breathe. Be conscious that you are breathing. Be conscious that you are conscious of the breath. And now imagine that which is watching you, your own consciousness, is inhabiting your own body. Inhabit the body. Pay attention to your feet and be conscious of the breath and the feet. We're stretching our consciousness. So you breathe in and you are aware of your feet. And you breathe in and your awareness moves up. The feet fills up your body like you're pouring water into a glass. The water grows from the bottom to the top. Your awareness grows from your feet up to your legs. With each inhale, your awareness grows up the body. If you get distracted, bring your awareness to the breath. You breathe and you inhabit. Inhabit. Go in the body. Your awareness in the body. Breathe in, filling up your body with your own consciousness. At your own pace, up through the abdomen, through the chest, arms, hands, neck, head. Breathe, inhabit. Step 3, bring your awareness now to your abdomen. And when we had the experience of realizing parts of us do not want to be here, what moves in your abdomen? Maybe it's pain, maybe it's loneliness, sadness. Feel. You might feel it in your chest. Whatever is inspired by that experience, let it affect you. Feel it. Dennis, close your eyes, please. Breathe, inhabit, feel, and step 4, observe. Whatever you're feeling, your consciousness can observe it. And it's that observation that will envelop the reaction. It will envelop and transmute that feeling. Breathe, inhabit, feel, and observe. Now I invite you to imagine that you are in a group of people. You are with a group of people, and you are feeling like you're having a good time. Please be conscious of yourself during this story, and let yourself feel whatever this story inspires inside. So you're with a group of people, and all of a sudden, everyone in that group leaves. You don't know where they went. You don't know what's going to happen next. No one's asking you what you're doing. No one's there to bring you along, or they abandoned you. Abandonment. With a curiosity, observe inside how abandonment feels. And in your mind, say, I am abandoned. Abandonment. I feel abandoned. No one is there. No one's around. They left you. Feel it. Breathe. Inhabit. Feel. Feel fully and observe. Now, bring it to a time in your life where you felt abandoned. Someone died. Someone left you. Feel it. Without your choice, you were alone. Breathe. Inhabit. Be conscious of your breath. Be conscious of your body. And let the emotion of abandonment surface. Let it affect you. Emotions are energy in motion. Remember this. Energy in motion. It just wants to be felt. That is how the emotion is resolved. It wants to be felt by you. If you feel the emotion, it wants you to feel it. And observe. Observe. Your consciousness gaze. Look at that abandonment. You're doing so good. Breathe. Inhabit. Feel. And observe. Did you know that abandonment is the opposite of choice? Remember, a time when you chose. It was in your choosing to leave a place. It was in your choice to have someone leave. You were like, oh yeah, we're just going to see each other later, bye. It's the unexpected leaving. It's not in your control. That's what hurts. It wasn't in your choice. Feel that. You can't control someone's freedom to leave. Nature's freedom to take something away from you. You are smaller than nature. And it hurts. A little longer, let your consciousness look at this abandonment. Let it look at that void. Let it look at that emptiness. You're doing so good. Notice how when your conscious gaze paired with your willingness to be affected, the emotion loses some of its power. It gets a little smaller. Wisdom is experience. Experience your emotions. Breathe. Come back when you are ready. Open your eyes softly and come back. Guys, we just felt abandonment and no one died. Holy crap! Do you know how many addictions are formed from the resistance to feel what we just felt? You okay? Dennis, did you cease to exist? Oh! How do you feel, Adam?
Some of the devil leaves.
You feel it, or do you?
Oh, I feel it.
You feel it. Good. Why do you think you feel it? If there's a purpose to everything that happens in the universe, let's just play around. What do you think that's teaching you?
I'm not sure yet. I can't say I know. That's probably why I'm here. Trying to figure it out. Or maybe it's something that comes to me one day.
Well, you're way bigger than any emotion of suffering. And your truth is joy and peace and love. So let's discover why abandonment keeps showing up for you. Okay? How do you feel, Brittany? You tan woman. How was that?
They took me to a more empathetic place for a bunch of people that come up through my mind than personal.
Okay. There is wisdom to be learned from every experience we have inside. Abandonment doesn't have to feel like abandonment. And what fuels abandonment usually results from an expectation or an attachment, just for future reference. How do you feel, Joelle?
Sad and angry. Very angry. Because we say like abandonment is the opposite of choice, but like I was abandoned. Like my mom and my dad just gave me away to my grandma, and then my sister was like close with me, and then she left, and then my papa was really close with me, and he died, and it's just like it was just like hit so many. So I was just like feeling me as a baby. Like all the stuff I went through and like my cats like dying and things like that and just like leaving me and lovers too. But it's like, was it their choice to abandon me? And that's how it's always felt. It's like, why did they choose to do that? Now, like, my parents left me because of their addictions. So they couldn't feel this. They never chose to feel this, where I feel like I choose every day to feel it, to take the hit, where they didn't. So I'm angry at them. Like, why? Why can you just like sit with yourself ever? And still to this day have the same addictions, cannot sit with it. And then I as the child have to take it all. So yeah, there's like sadness, but there's more anger.
Joelle, do you think that there's another perspective to this story?
Yes, there is. I being raised by my mother's parents, I see the trauma that she went through and why she feels so much. I feel her pain, and then I see her light too, and I know that it was much harder than I can imagine. And I was the fourth child, and like I know like when I go to the highest perspective of like I chose this body and this mind and even this family, because this family gave me the freedom and a certain amount of trauma that has led me to my awakening and my consciousness and everything. So I can see it. It's just it gets hard. I get upset.
Thank you for sharing. You're such a bubbly fucking woman. You don't know how much anger's inside of you. Jacob, how you feeling? Is there a story that made it close off that you can be aware of? Okay. Well, just be curious. I'm not going to ask how you are, Dennis.
I deal with abandonment every day because I've lost very significant people in my life, and it's hard for me to go in that place and feel it because I feel it so much all the time.
It is uncomfortable, isn't it? Don't feel good. There ain't no hope in these waters that I've been washing my hands in forever. I know there is hope in this river, but I can't swim when I am drowning in these waters. Baby, let me in and go easy on me, baby. I was still a child. I didn't get the chance to feel the world around me. I had no time to choose what I chose to do. So go easy on me. Go easy on you. Please. The ego is here for us to survive, and it will constantly say, "What about me?" And that is what abandonment is. What about me? That's the first mask of the ego. There's another 20. Diana, can you express how you feel? How was that for you?
I can express a lot of things, yes. I'm a deep motherfucker.
Well, how was abandonment? Were you able to observe it and see it dissolve a little bit?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done a lot of work on this. Actually, that's one of my number one things is abandonment. And flipping my perspective and realizing self-love and it's a choice. But doing this exercise made me realize once again the depth of emotion and how important it is for us to feel all of these so that we can truly understand love. Like literally, you have to feel everything to really understand the depth of love.
And Diana, you'll find that at the core of abandonment is oneness.
Exactly.
It's the same coin, just different sides of the same coin. Yeah. Normally we start with the denials, but we're just gonna go the fuck to it. That will be the worst that we feel today. Good job.
Mm.
Good job. Let us look at the map of the ego, please. Your hand out. We're starting on the green branch here, the 3 big families of emotion. Okay? So we have abandonment, rejection, or guilt. And these emotions are what we don't want to feel, because if we feel them, they threaten our structures inside, right? Friends, I'm not asking us to go into the shadow and dwell there and to just say, oh, I'm abandoned and that's the end of the story. That's not the end of the fucking story, okay? We feel it so that it doesn't have control over us, so that it doesn't infiltrate every interaction we have. Do you see this disparity that's formed when we avoid abandonment? If you were the one leaving, you do not feel this. There's your abandonment is a focus on one specific taste of life, one specific way. If we open the focus, if we open ourselves up to a less, oh, this is about me. No, a bird's eye view, actually, that person's going through something. They need to leave. Actually, it's not about me. It's about Oreo. Like, really beautiful reminder. Look at this. Playfulness of life. Innocence. Abandonment is reminding us of the innocence that is in everyone. The innocence. And you have all of the tools that you need to take care of you how you feel it, how you want to be taken care of. Everything we experience is inside of us. Oh man, I'm saying so many beautiful one-liners. Who's writing these down? Oh, we need to start an Instagram page of one-liners. Okay, since we're not coming out of abandonment, let's give the medicine first. So I wasn't going to do this today. Okay, where do we feel the abandonment most in the body? Where do we feel it? In your heart? Heart? Gut? Heart?
I think it's hurt in the back. So.
Back?
My whole body.
Dennis, pick a spot. Pick a spot. We have such a playful relationship. Put your hand on the spot in your body that where the abandonment is most dense. Okay, where you feel it the most. Sorry, Joelle. She's gonna have to do some acrobatics.
I need it anyways.
Okay, put your hand there, please. Be present with that abandonment like it's a child. Like it's a child. Doesn't know why it's feeling this. It just wants to be comforted. It wants to be understood. It doesn't even care if you understand, actually. It just wants your attention. It just wants you. It wants your consciousness. Be there. Abandonment is a result of looking outside for what you can only get inside. You're looking outside for something that only comes from inside, and it hurts when we ask for something that only we can give ourselves. That's the abandonment. You abandoning this. Abandoning you. Moments where you should have said no. Moments where you should have said, I'm not feeling that today. Oh. Feel it. Be there with it. Comfort yourself. And the medicine, the wisdom that comes from abandonment, there are many layers. One of the layers is forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Forgive them. They didn't know that they were abandoning you. They were on their own path. They didn't consider it abandonment. They considered it a choice for them to go their own way. You understand? They weren't thinking about the trauma that would happen inside, right? They couldn't conceive that because it's inside of you. It's you. It's your story. They're autonomous. Does that make sense? Forgiveness is not saying it's okay. Forgiveness is understanding that we can't read each other's minds, that we have different ways of moving and being in this world. Okay? And forgiving ourselves is saying, I understand that you were doing the absolute best with what you had in that moment. Okay? Right now, the ego is trained to look outside. Always outside, outside, outside. Who can I get love from? Who can touch me? Who can I get acceptance from? Who can I get attention from? The ego is constantly in survival. Okay? This is a gift that we can consciously observe. Whoa! Oh, that's what my ego's doing. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to fulfill that. I'm going to self-source my own love. I love myself exactly as I am. Say it out loud. I love myself exactly as I am. I forgive myself. Say it.
I forgive myself.
Oh, okay. And the walls come up. We were so vulnerable there, and then a wall came up as soon as we said it out loud. All right. That's okay. Woo! All right. Come back. That's enough. Stop touching yourselves. Jesus. What kind of workshop is this? So the wall that came up, was it? Look at the three denials. Was it a fear, was it a shame, or was it a pride? What wall came up that blocked you from feeling that oneness, that forgiveness of love for? Which denial was it? Was it fear, shame, or pride?
So mine was fair.
Really? Damn. You're so vulnerable right now. It's beautiful. Okay, fear. Ooh. Little persecutor role. We didn't get to the roles yet, but you're persecuting yourself a little bit. Yeah?
Always for the best.
I think your origin was like a demon. Have you ever studied your origin?
No.
Or maybe a rock. Something dense. Probably not a rock because you have consciousness. Anyway, good. Shame.
I felt the first one. I love myself just as I am.
Beautiful.
Forgiveness is pride.
Pride! You powerful motherfucker.
Oh wait, I thought we were talking about the abandonment part still.
We can talk about the. No, it's okay.
Okay.
I moved to the.
Oh, I couldn't even say any of those things. I don't know why.
Okay.
So
Good.
I'm still
Good.
reflecting more on the abandonment thing now. From a self-reflective state of the abandoner, I guess.
No, Brittany, what you said was spot on. There was no right or wrong answer. I was just directing to.
No, I'm trying to rethink now what I felt like during that part.
Who's entering? Oh, these ladies are undressing.
Scandalous.
My God, and they're built so nice. Wow. I've just been so programmed to objectify you. You know what I mean? Are you staying for the class?
We are. Can we come in?
Are you gonna put clothes on?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you can come in.
Some clothes.
I've always
This is Jeannie.
just take my bra off.
How are you? Sorry, we're late.
Calling
Get comfy.
Okay, we got a little
Get your
cover.
stuff.
I'm not gonna see you.
Right. Diana.
Buddy, how are you?
I'm feeling great.
Hey, girl.
Hi, hun.
It's okay.
Did you feel fear, shame, or pride block that forgiveness?
Oh my goodness.
I've already forgiven myself a lot, but I would say some shame and some pride both.
Both. Okay.
I'm a very judgy big judgerson. I'm always judging myself. I'm
Okay.
like, yeah.
Me too. Very critical. It makes us awesome, but it's also like a self-eating thing that happens.
Too high of expectations, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for your vulnerability and your awareness. We have
Thank
2
you.
people that just joined us.
I saw that. Yeah.
We're flowing.
It's beautiful. I'm loving this.
I am too. You see why we need 4 fucking hours?
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
can't just say this to somebody and then let them go on their merry way. You know?
Yeah. Some people have never touched it, so absolutely.
I know, right? And it's a little soul moment that you came after abandonment. Good job.
Okay, good.
Great time.
Doing something right.
Yeah.
Goodness.
You are.
Can I get a drink of water real quick?
I don't care what you do, honey. Freedom's absolute. I wonder if I missed something. Because that really hurt. Like, we really went there. I wonder if I could have like put a, no, I can't. Because that's not the process. Yeah. The process is to do your thing. Yeah. Breathe, inhabit. Beautiful question. Okay, so remember the 4 noble truths? Okay, so the first noble truth is there is suffering, and that's breathing. We acknowledge that there is suffering by breathing consciously. Not just breathing like, oh, I'm breathing, but consciously breathing. You gotta really, really consciously do it, because it's your consciousness. When I say consciousness, what's it mean to you, Dennis? Okay, good. No. Thank you for saying that. It's like a presence. Okay? When you are physically alone, okay, let me see it. You can observe your thoughts, right? What the hell you think's observing your thought? That's your consciousness.
Okay.
Sure. So, step 2 in the noble truth is there is a cause to suffering, and that's when we inhabit. All right? We humbly go into the fire, right? Which is our body. You know what I mean? Inhabit. And your soul is always with you, but right now, the ego is in charge. And what we're doing is we're bringing the soul down into the body by inhabiting it. Gorgeous women walking in front of me. Oh my God. I am focusing. Okay. So we're bringing the awareness down into the body. And if you imagine, like in physics, or a wave maybe, engulfing, embracing the ego, embracing. We're not judging the ego, we're not blaming the ego, we are embracing it, and we're enveloping it into our consciousness. The soul and the ego become one. Okay, anyway, that's inhabiting. Step 3. There's an end to suffering, and that's what happens when we feel it. When we stop denying what's going on, we face it, we feel it. Step 3 is feel. And it's a vulnerable step because we're affected. We don't want to be affected. If we're egos with legs, the worst thing that can happen is to be vulnerable. The worst thing that can happen is to be affected. Am I making sense? Okay, so that's step 3. Step 3 is pretty powerful. There is an end to suffering. He's a left-handed. He's a lefty. It's a good sign. I just put this out there. Okay. 4th noble truth is there's an end to suffering, and that's our observation. That's our consciousness going into the darkness, going into the abandonment, and teaching us the light, the lesson, the wisdom, invoking the soul planes, the wisdom, the consciousness, the causality. Bada bing, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Make sense? I actually don't want to make sense. I want us to go beyond our senses. But you understand what I'm saying? The words are going into your structures. Okay, cool.
Into me, I see. Intimacy. Intimacy. Into me, I see.
Ooh. Diana said intimacy. Into me, I see. Intimacy. Into me, I see. Resonated with 2 of our fellas. Thank you. Do you see how our abandonment serves? Whatever Diana has gone through to get that nugget of wisdom just served you both. Do you see that? And you are available to receive it. Okay? What, honey? Oh. Well, you're kind of walking into the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
That's going to be awkward for you. It's just going to be a transition period. Don't worry. Don't be sorry. Guilt is worthy. Silly. It's not productive.
I know.
But it's okay. No, we're trained. It's fine. You're perfect as you are. So, what I just said was Diana's shit that she went through birthed a realization of intimacy. Into me, I see. Whatever she had to go through in her life gave her that nugget of wisdom. And then it shared into their realizations. A little light bulb went on. And what I'm proposing is that the shit that we go through, that's the journey of it. It's meant to be felt, to gain wisdom, to then be showed, to be taught, to be shared. Because we are in service constantly to something bigger than us. Honey, you gonna be sitting with me for the next 2 hours. You gonna keep your shirt off. That's how you're gonna figure it out. Okay.
Keep your shirt off. I like that.
Yeah, keep it off.
Keep it.
Okay. Alrighty. Do you understand why we start with the abandonment? Why we start with the 3 emotions? Everything that we feel in life boils down to avoiding these 3 emotions. Okay? Everything that's not pleasant. So if we can pinpoint what we're feeling, that is the first step on the map of the ego. What am I trying not to feel? Am I trying not to feel guilt? Am I trying not to feel rejection? Am I trying not to feel abandonment? So abandonment, we all know intimately, is feeling like someone's leaving us. We're being left alone. Okay? Rejection? Yeah.
So abandonment could also be like physically being with somebody but putting a wall up between you guys.
Absolutely.
And dissociating.
Absolutely.
And it
That's
affects
an
them just as
emotional
much,
abandonment.
yeah.
It's more, yeah. Oh my God. Abandonment can happen. Abandonment happened when Dennis was on his phone. Sorry to keep bringing that fucking up. But it's seriously what happened. His consciousness abandoned the group. You understand? It's what happens when I don't know, whenever there's a distraction, whenever the ego creates a distraction, there's a break in consciousness, a break in flow. Do you mean like,
Not fall asleep, but
you mean fall
the
asleep?
waking sleep.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, like being in harmony with the universe. Like I've been like so out of tune, and I've been trying so hard to like get back into the flow.
Only an aspect of you believes that you're out of tune. You are in the flow always. You can never not be in it.
I just feel like it's like so much resistance, and like it's like everything I do is like Murphy's law.
Honey, if
Like,
you hear
Mars,
the
and, like,
resistance, you're in your relationship with it, with the resistance is better than what you think it is. Because if you're here, so when I first learned this, look at me. When I first learned this wisdom, this map, this this stuff, it brought me to a place where whatever made me feel fear, that's what I wanted to do. I started a business, started a website. I was intimate with a woman. The fear the fear became the guide. So because I'm bigger than the fear. Fear is not my master. I am the master. This is what I'm saying. When we can identify it, when we can observe it, we're taking the power back. Okay? And sometimes we need to develop prudence, right? We need to develop discernment. Okay, so yeah, no, that's okay, sweetie. So I need you to know that this process is not just taught by itself. It's taught with prayer. This is the personal growth part to the spiritual practice. What I teach is a combination of personal growth and spiritual practice. Okay? So this is not to be taught by itself. That's why I had to teach some mantras first, and we invoke the space with mantras first. Because you need to have higher self-consciousness to look at this. If you have if you just have personal growth, like counseling, you're going to evolve, but you're not going to evolve as fast as if you were to combine them. Just as if you were to only do just as if you were to only do spiritual practice, you would not evolve as fast as if doing this combo. So this is the personal growth piece. This is personal growth, spiritual practice is what I teach and what I do and stuff. Okay, that being said, virtue in combination of this self-awareness, you need to be prudent, meaning taking care of things as they feel it. Your car, being prudent with your car is cleaning it, right? Being prudent with yourself, taking a bath, touching your body, making your body know that you are not alone. Prudence is taking care of something as it feels it, okay? And a lot of us can't do it with one another yet. We can't. We don't know how what's that space, sweetie?
I'm so close to an understanding of why I procrastinate. And I feel like right there. And I'm struggling to remind us the part that I don't understand is that as you feel it,
Okay, thank you for saying that. It's good feedback. So as you feel it, prudence. I am being prudent with you right now by saying things in various ways so that you can understand it. Being prudent with the class by having physical materials and a schedule to take care of your minds, right? To take care of the structure in the mind that needs to know what's going to happen next. That's an act of prudence. you're taking care of yourselves by having beverages, right? Like it's prudent if you're going into a 4-hour class to have a beverage. You know what I mean? Well, we have some, dear.
Thank you, I know.
But you know what I mean. But do you feel like that? So when we procrastinate, it's a whole other class, by the way. But
You have a class on that?
yes,
Can I add to
Can you
that?
teach
Yeah.
that?
Okay, so what exactly?
sure. Yeah, let's talk about procrastination really quick because that's what's coming to the space. Yeah,
I had like my own experience with procrastination. I feel
we're talking about procrastination, Diana.
Mhm.
pushes me into that space is
It's my middle name. Let's go with it.
Okay.
you know,
What pushes you into what space?
like procrastination, not honoring what I actually want to do, or not honoring my rest, or something like that. And then, or just, you know, sometimes I'm so in the mind, not enough in the body, or like action, like there's too much going up here. So like that's why I procrastinate personally, because I'm not able to heal what's going on emotionally. So my action is like physically blocked.
Yes.
So I think
Beautifully
it's,
said.
it's a lot with the solar plexus chakra.
Really
I don't know if
beautifully
that
said.
makes,
Yeah.
that's kind of.
So you just said a beautiful like umbrella statement, and I'm wondering, you know, sometimes we have specific things, and to honor that resistance. So that's why I said prudence is important, because sometimes we have resistance because we really shouldn't be fucking doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It's not in our all in line.
but then sometimes we have resistance because that's what our ego will need to evolve. Understand? It can be a defense mechanism or it can be a protection mechanism. There is no right or wrong. There is no this or that. You need to develop the skill inside to discern, to be prudent with your body, to be prudent with your evolutionary path. For example, I chose romantic relationships for evolution until it hurt too much. Now I choose something else. I don't want my romantic relationships to make me evolve like what I should learn in 20 years I learned in 2 years. I don't want that anymore. Because because it doesn't have to be, evolution doesn't have to be that intense. Okay? It doesn't. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. But because we are sovereign, we are in choice, I chose. So when we can get to a point of like life is not happening at me, and we can get into responsibility land.
Which road is that? Which way do I go? There's not. There's not. I need a map, please. Please.
Okay, you take a left at Heartbreak, and then you take a right at
I ran out of gas on Heartbreak.
yeah. So let's have like this bird's eye view. Like if you were life, right, and your goal was to evolve, okay, you're going to present events that make people evolve, that make people want to look at themselves, that make people want to grow. They want to go from I am all alone, I am just an ego, to whoa, I am also a soul and divine, and I am a creator. Understand? You feeling it?
I do.
You feeling it? You feeling it?
Mhm.
We are taking back our creator space with this process, with this dialogue. And we have free will. We have free will. Okay. So rejection is what happens when we need to be artsy. We need to be abstract. We need to be very, like, imagine you were painting what rejection looks like. Okay, imagine you were writing a story about what if rejection was a human person, what would it look like? How would it act? Okay, the less that we can like the more that we can demystify these emotions that we run from all the time in every moment, the more that we can claim it back. Okay? So, the fear of rejection, right? Big. Rejection at its core is what? Abandonment's close. Yeah, abandonment's there, absolutely. So there's this separation happening. There's a pushing away. There's a pushing away. Okay. Mhm.
Rejection is somebody's choice to have a healthy boundary as well. I'm always about flipping it. Flip the perspective. That's the only way I could deal with it.
Beautiful. So what Diana just did is go from how it affects her only to another perspective, right? Joelle did it in her example of understanding her parents are going through an addiction. Of course they're going to abandon her. It's probably the most compassionate fucking thing, by the way. Just saying. You know, but it's the ego's power is to make everything about you and to blame everything on other people. Okay? That is what it boils down to. And integration is reminding you, oh, I'm a conscious creator creating these things in my life so that I can feel them, so that I can embrace them, and that so I can share my truest nature. My nature is not rejection or abandonment. My nature is responsibility and positive boundaries. Like, you know what I mean? So, does that make sense?
Isn't it crazy that they don't teach you this stuff?
Yeah.
Like growing up in life,
I
like
know.
awareness. Like I just realized about, like learned about awareness like a couple of years ago.
Do you
Like,
know
it took
what?
me 38 years to like even have a clue with
I
that.
know. And you
how
know,
is it like that?
there's 2 points. One, I'm super fucking young, right? And I'm like, I have people who taught me this, and they're like, "Oh, I wish I was on my path when I was your age." But I'm studying the development right now. I'm in a counseling class where we study, you know, why babies are the way they are, and then the development of the mind and stuff. We need to come to a certain space to be able to receive this, right? We need to come to a certain. You're not gonna.
From when time you're young, like you have a way better understanding of it, and like you can live your life, you know, better, more fully. Like I mean, it's just crazy. Like this.
Maybe
this
that's
is
what you're here to do.
valuable things that we should be teaching our children.
I feel like we're moving into that era.
I think so too. I hope so.
Because I think, in my personal like, that you can't just be taught it. Like you have to experience it. You have to go through shit to know what shit is.
Yeah.
To hold even compassion for it. Because like someone can like teach you since you're a baby and like tell you like this is what awareness is. This is that. This is that. But like it's an internal growth and it's pain that really builds
It
it.
is definitely, but wouldn't it be so much better if we could learn it without all that pain?
Yeah.
I would love
Have
to give
the
like
have
that
the
gift to
tools.
my children.
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just honor
So-
the pain.
So pain is inevitable. Suffering is the choice. So pain is inevitable. We have to feel pain in life. Suffering, holding on to that pain, that's where the choice comes in. Okay? At some level, we choose it. I know it's not obvious when it's happening. Like, why would I choose to suffer, Suzie? But an aspect of you is like, oh, this is what we need to feel right now. We need to wallow in this to build up the momentum. Oh my gosh, I was cheated on one time, y'all. And the amount of pain I felt was momentum for me to just go. Like, it was so cool. It was like putting gas in my engine. Oh, I'm so sad that happened to me. Poor me, poor me. And then it was like, woo! Like, it was so cool. Like, it was like, chugga, 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 chugga. Now I'm sprinting. What were you saying?
Well, it's like yin and yang, right? It's not like either of them is good and bad. They both are. Like the two sides of the same coin. If you didn't go through that experience, you wouldn't have that awareness of it.
Well, and then when we get into soul planes, that's why in the 10 planes I talk about wisdom, because that's beyond the judgment of what's happening. It's the soul's coming in. The soul doesn't judge the experience. Okay? The soul is like, oh, this is what rejection feels like. Oh, cool. You know? So just, that's also what we're doing here. That's another layer of when we observe. We're observing, the fourth step. We breathe, inhabit, feel, and observe. We're observing with our consciousness that is not judgment, that is not critical. It's just observing. And it's that gaze that lessens the power and the influence.
That's being a master. Like, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You're a
Right?
master if you can do that.
So there are different levels of integration. There's a shallow integration that you just constantly throughout your day, you're like, oh, what emotion am I avoiding? Take note of it, yeah. And then there's fundamental. So you can fundamentally erase the potential from your body to have it. So I was going to get into that later. I'm getting into that later, cutie pie.
Is this just like Buddhist teaching? Is this like Buddhist practice?
Yeah. All right. So, do we need to go into some chairs? How are we feeling?
Good.
We good?
Nice to be moving around, you know?
Yeah.
Going changing positions, not just doing stuff like sitting up, you know?
Good. Yeah, and loosen up some space in there. Alrighty. So, let's go over explaining what guilt is, and then what the three denials are, and then we'll take another little breaksies. We're doing good halfway through. We should order pizza. No, stop it.
I thought it was Chinese.
Oh, I would love some Chinese. Don't you be leaning back suggesting Chinese like that. Go! All right, so guilt. Notice the abandonment is energies going out without our choice. Rejection is we're being judged, right? Energies, our awareness is how we're affected. This hurts me. And then, and I'm saying this with compassion. I do it all the time. I'm just trying to be comedic so that we don't go into that abandonment hole again. Okay, but then the guilt. What is guilt? Guilt is a different taste. Oh, guilt. What? But the conditions that need to be in place for guilt to happen.
You wouldn't feel the heaviness of it, your bad choices and things like that.
Bad.
If
Bad.
you didn't have
Bad. 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 Bad.
right.
Bad. Bad. Bad.
Somebody said it was bad?
For guilt to be available to us, there needs to be a judgment of what is good and a judgment of what is bad.
Probation.
If you're in a gang, you can shoot someone and be praised for it, and you would not have guilt. If you are in church and you shoot someone, you would be rejected and judged. You would have guilt. Understand, it depends on the environment around you, whether guilt is taking action or not. Does that make sense? Tell me.
So if you can like justify why you did things, but you still see that it wasn't the right response because you weren't in your highest essence to unconditionally love. So the guilt is there so much further because you just keep thinking, if I was just always unconditional without letting the ego be like, oh, but I
Holy
need this, like,
crap, Brittany, you are in self-hatred land, and I'm not gonna let you go there right now, honey.
well, just awareness of how subtle actions deeply affect others,
They do affect.
especially like your partner.
Yes.
And then their choices are their choices. But if you
Mm.
give up your ego to empower their truth, I guess, and not always you do that, then that's where the guilt comes in.
They do not have to evolve at your expense.
But
Is
with
that what you're talking
unconditional
about?
love, no, just if one person is always standing in unconditional love and seeing them beyond their present actions and blah 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 choices, this and that, then that will raise them up to the truth that you see. But if you keep seeing their mistakes and their bad choices and this and that, then you're bringing them down to this level and you're not helping. You're in this cycle of
So what you're describing feels like enmeshment, where where the journeys tend to like get flubby.
like everybody can tell me that I'm doing the right thing, and that makes me feel more guilty because they're not seeing like how I'm affecting the judgment they have on this person, and they're not labeling it as this, but really like they don't see if I didn't react this little way, this little way, this little way that you think is just, but like I know it's not, then it wouldn't be there.
But you're looking for your truth inside of you. Like you're not looking like to the out. From what I can tell. Like,
Do you
the
want to be
outside world,
punished?
No, but I want to take
Do
accountability.
you just want us to be
No.
like, you're
And that's
fucking
the thing.
horrible,
I hold
like
so much
higher
forgiveness
self?
and understanding in it.
Forgiveness,
But the guilt is
understanding,
just-
and compassion. Compassion.
But
People
still
who-
accountability. I guess guilt and accountability are go hand in hand in my frame of mind. But then like
But there's a different way to evolve. So I'm gonna say, there's a different way to connect with others and evolve. It doesn't have to be so hard.
You're
It
like,
doesn't have to
you're
be
like
so hard.
So up here. But that's hard for you. Like,
And the
every
compassion
time
piece is understanding that they too are autonomous divine gods, having their own story play out for them exactly as
but
they
you
need
affect
to.
that story with every choice that you interact with them on. I feel. I see it. I know.
You do have an effect, yeah. But they are not a victim. You cannot save them.
You can move on.
But there's this taste of like, oh, they don't have, they're not doing it. You know what I mean? There's this judgment in there.
And there is like to unconditionally love without judgment, but rather what would be projected as judgment would be the unconditional love in a different way. Yes, it's just the challenge for me. Either projecting it as judgment or like not pretending like it's not there.
So I'm having a hard time following because I have the assumption that when you say unconditional love, you mean what feels good.
No, I mean like I see you no matter what. I know who you are. I know the power that you are created to be, but you're suppressing that.
Right, but you're
And I love
denying
you.
their evolution state right there in that moment. You're seeing the potential. At the same time judging where they're at in their evolution. That's not compassionate. That's not elevating them either.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's where the guilt comes in.
Well, honey, you don't have to crucify yourself for wanting someone to live up to their fucking potential. What if your rejection? This is the thing. Okay, hold on. I see where you're going now, and this needs to be said. Just because we are conscious of these things inside doesn't mean they are to be avoided. We want to avoid them, but in life we do not avoid them. They are here for a reason. They make people evolve. They make people look at each other and like look at themselves. We have rejection as an act of grace. We feel abandoned from an act of love. Understand this. I'm not saying like let's master ourselves and like never invoke someone to feel rejected. No. That's being a slave to the ego. I don't want you to be a slave to the ego. I want you to just know what's happening when it's happening and invite your intelligence, your higher intelligence in there to elevate the ego. we can't avoid suffering. I mean, we can't avoid pain, sorry. We can avoid suffering, but we can't avoid pain.
But we can like make different choices. Like our choices ultimately lead to every. We're constantly creating every moment. And like I make the worst choices, and like no, I don't always make the worst choices, but like I make choices that don't fit in to the parameters of who says how it should be.
All right, so that's prudent.
So,
You just
like,
gotta be prudent.
I, in my mind, like, am discerning this. I am a good person. Like, I know this to be true, and like, I have values and like things, certain things that I live by. And like, when I start letting them go, like, that's obviously time to look at myself. But like, it's hard to live in a world and like be working on yourself and like know this stuff, like she's saying, and like when everybody else doesn't, and like.
That's why Sangha is important. Community is important.
I feel like judgment can also be a boundary as well as rejection.
Yeah,
And
judgment.
that's why rejection and judgment are so similar. Because it's a boundary. It's like I judge you because I see what you're doing, and now you can't be in my field.
Right.
Sorry, because like
Right.
I've lost myself too many times
Right.
looking at someone in their potential, like
Yeah.
waiting. There's no, it's time. I have to go do something else.
Amen. Yeah, Joelle, I'm not saying like let's judge ourselves for having judgment. Okay?
No.
I'm saying when judgment results in suffering, that's when we need to look at it.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
that is.
So boys, all the boys are really quiet. What's going on with the boys?
You guys are holding down the conversation. I don't want to interrupt. Because I don't want to say sacrifice or, being able to see, you see people for who they are. It's really battling through it. It's the idea of taking something that's not feels good. It doesn't feel good. It's hard. It's rough and it's sad and it's messed up. But you can see more in it. That like this is gonna be hard. Everything's just not gonna be happiness and easy. There's gonna be guilt. There's gonna be rejection. There's gonna be abandonment. But at least if you have in those roles of being with somebody, there's gonna be times where you guys are gonna have to go through things. And if those things are too much, yeah, that's when you cut ties or when you move past them. But when you say you love something, I'm willing to sacrifice everything. And that's where I see in these things. It's just a lot, because I have all these things going on. I'm scared. I got my pride in the way. I got shame all the time, But yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's what we're gonna be able to, what we want, And at the end of the day, it's like what we choose. It's what makes us happy, right? But that's why I was being quiet, because you guys were just talking about, your personal experiences with your own growth or your own experience with your own people, or trying to figure it out yourself. So that's what I'm trying to figure out too. If I'm here today.
All right, let's move on to the denials. So denials are like things in front of the gates to the emotions, and they are like the guards. So no, you're gonna be afraid. You're gonna feel fear. You're gonna feel fear. Oh, so that you do not feel what? Abandoned, rejection, or guilt. Oh, you're gonna be ashamed. Oh, shame. Shame is like this over focus again on self. But again, we feel shame so that we don't feel rejection. Pride is the hardest one, because you can be like, I'm feeling it. I'm just not like there. I'm just not feeling it. So pride is a very, very intimate one. It's very hard one to grasp. So you're gonna
I'm prideful.
have to be intimate with it to dissolve it. All right? Yeah. So let's take another short break. Diana, sorry the dialogue. You probably can't hear the dialogue. But, okay. All right, another short break, and then we'll go into the roles and the tools. Thank you for being here.
Is this just regular, like, what's your, is this just regular, where you, like, where the information?
So this information, oh, good.
Like, where's your,
So this can be Buddhist or Christian.
I
or-
thought it was like, kind of seems like a little bit of an extra, but I get it, I'm on the same page.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid. It's the focus is to evolve.
Yes.
Consciously evolve.
Check it out.
Consciously. On purpose. Evolve on
Check it out.
purpose. Yes.
I think that gave me.
We have it.
Yes, I was. But listen, did you ever hear of a book called Conversations with God? You should check it out.
Okay.
It changed my life.
Oh.
Then I lost, got off course again.
The path is wide enough. The path is wide enough. I'm scared of you.
She's not a force. She's like a force.
Did you understand what I was saying? There's a denial a little bit of the reality when you're constantly looking at the potential.
But if the substance abuse is the suppression, then the reality would be without that, it would be so much better. But the pain of their personal abandonment, their wounds, is why they resort to.
Right. But the substance, but that's their sovereign path to evolve. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get that too. Like, I have been, it's just hard to embody, and that's why the guilt is there too, because I understand too, like, my path is not your path. For me to
No, but I'm not saying be an asshole. I'm just saying, like, if someone's asking for your help, you can only help so much. Understand that. Imposing is going into their freedom.
But that's where unconditional love.
No, unconditional love is okay. Letting go. To an extent. If the goal is to evolve. Only if the goal is to evolve.
Yeah.
But if the goal is to like, you're just gonna you're going to hurt more. There's another way to show them unconditional love. Unconditional love. Okay, so love in a human way. I don't mean to be preaching. This is just in my heart. Love is at the pure form of love. It is just a desire, and it moves out. Everything else that we pin to this word is our own stuff. But energetically, love is an expansion. Right? Or no, wait. Joy is an expansion. Love is an embrace. Sorry. Love, joy. So the mechanics of creation are love and joy. And joy is joy expresses and love comes in. Joy expresses, love comes in. Yes.
Yes, yeah, that's what it is. I'm so miserable all the time. And I don't even want to, like, I want to just leave all that away because I already have an understanding and I want to be there.
Right. You have it in the mental. Yes, absolutely.
It's
It's
the cycles of what causes the guilt.
the patterns, yeah. Well, and might I invite you to consider guilt as might be a form of what you used in the past to obtain and to accumulate and to attain any needs that you might have. Maybe you got something because you were guilty at one time, and your ego was like, "Oh, that's how I get love." You know, that works more. Because if we really study guilt, right, it's not about them; it's about you. If you're guilty about something, it's you want more and more love for you. It doesn't have anything to do with that person.
Or what if you love that person so much, but any negative effects that you have on their life and years that you would have shed from their
How do you know it's negative?
because I can feel it when it's happening. It's not my truth. Like, I'm the bitch sometimes to one person.
Yeah.
And that creates more cycles of the reason that I'm sick because I put walls up. It's just, I already understand all. I don't know much about this. So,
You call yourself that.
it's so
I hate when you call yourself a bitch.
I love the freedom of being a bitch. I love being a bitch.
Yes.
I don't.
And no,
Oh my
because
gosh.
she's in a negative aspect, I need to call you something. Now, you saying it, totally different. I love being a bitch too.
Joelle, we have the freedom to feel what we want to feel, all right?
We make an agreement that you're not gonna let something bother you, but then you let
That's
it
my
bother
pride.
you. But if you just like,
You and me, honey. So breathe, inhabit, feel, and observe the pride. And it'll soften over time. It'll soften over time. And the spiritual practice of compassion, prudence, responsibility, self-love. Yeah, you got it. You're on your path. You're on your path.
Yeah, it's definitely started. I went a long way. I didn't even like think about how far I've been. Like even in like middle school, like I was just nasty,
Mhm.
like just so judgmental.
Mhm.
Just, and I feel like my judgment has like it's softened so much. Like from a child to feel like so mean inside, but like I was taught that, so it has. It's always a work in progress.
Surroundings will definitely affect your whole life, you know. The people you grow up with, you learn from, definitely. Said I learned, you know, nothing but hate, you know, my whole life. I said I grew up in a family that was abusive, you know, killed everything with just, you know, addiction.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or whatever they could do to make themselves feel better, but then also portray that on to other people. And then you learn that, and you learn to do it to other people.
Yes.
And then you start doing it, and then once you start growing and you start finding peace in knowing that you're better than that, you know.
Yeah, but that's my problem. I need to humble continuously that I am not better than anyone else. That that just because I have picked maybe it's like it's just a label. My path isn't any cleaner than anyone else's.
I'm not saying
You're so
like
smart for it.
I'm saying you make better decisions.
But everyone in this room has, and everyone adds something, and everyone can teach each other. It's a piece of what they have, so it's like.
I always pray to remain teachable. I say that prayer.
What you looking right in there?
Because you know what?
You are.
It's
Fun here?
really hard
You
to
looking right there?
The next part of the teaching.
be open to things.
I don't know where Courtney went. She walked into some
I
alleyway.
know.
So
You are teachable.
I think we should start.
She'll come in right when we're about to feel ourselves. Wow, that's like
to what?
It's like a
so. Just for future reference. At the end of the day, you can teach, you can have all the experience, but nature's mechanisms will win. And the students' consciousness and their desire to learn will decide how productive the class is. Not judging it, just stating an objective truth. So, you will evolve as much as you choose. And you'll get distracted as much as you choose. It's good. It's good. It's not a bad thing. It's a compassionate mechanism. I don't know. People keep going on their cell phones and in the alleyways. I'm not going to come back for a while. I'm going to make you want it.
I know.
No, dear. I'm teaching in Texas next week. I don't know when I'm coming back here. But thank you for being here.
what are you teaching?
It's nice to like hear other people that like share the same kind of views, you know, because it's not.
And you missed the intro, man. I'm way cooler than just
I know.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
I was singing Adele earlier.
Stick with you.
That was good. You were hitting some notes for that.
Do you
When
feel
were
it?
Practicing, you know, I feel it.
You feeling it?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, no, it's amazing. Amazing. She's been doing some of those, a lot of those open mics.
Yeah, the open mics really get it. All right, so I'm going to read a bunch of stuff from my teachers. I've been taught by a handful of pretty evolved people, in my opinion. And when they teach emotional integration, they talk about different aspects, and I just want to shower you with as much stuff, because who knows when we're going to see each other again, you know? So, emotional integration. Integration creates power. Dennis? The ultimate expression of power is vulnerability. Suffer everything through integration, and the power of events over your emotions dissolves away. A good example of this can be found in martial arts. If an opponent pushes against you to move you off your center and you forcibly resist, your resistance gives your opponent power over you. However, if you take a step to the side without resisting, your opponent's own force will guide him past you, throwing him off balance. It also follows naturally that your power over others increases, without you having to do or say anything. Many times people react negatively to us because at a deep level they can feel our guilt, our rejection, or our abandonment. And they just want to be loved also. And so our feelings can spark a need in others to protect themselves. Your higher level of consciousness, the simple happiness of trusting life, will have a positive effect on events and people in your life.
So true. The hardest thing to do. The hardest thing.
So there are a couple points in there that I have not shared with you yet, like trusting and consciously suffering to consciously evolve. Again, what we are doing when we are integrating is we are consciously bringing in the feeling of abandonment, for example, right? So that life doesn't have to show it to us. Okay? So we all have our stories to play off of, but the more that we feel it and let it affect us, the less life will have to show it to us. Okay? Does that make sense? How to breathe into an emotion. Humans are emotional beings, constantly reacting to experiences. Remember, I said the ego is constantly outside of itself, reacting, blaming, reacting, wanting to survive. The brain's processes are complex. Experiences cause chemical reactions in the brain, leading to various types of responses. And when we have an emotional response, there is more involved than just that event. Okay? The brain interprets each situation and creates a response to it. In this way, the brain influences the emotion that we feel. So if we think of the emotion as, this is against me, I'm dying, this is the end of life, oh my God. Okay, versus, oh, this is an emotion, this is energy in motion. This isn't here, this can't affect me, this can't kill me, this can't make me die, cease to exist, this is not a real threat anymore. We can train, our brain can train our relationship with emotions. That's what that's saying. I hurt myself a little bit. Okay, all emotions serve a purpose to help us evolve. What does it mean to evolve, Dennis?
Why do you always ask me questions?
Because I don't think you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
I'm trying to.
And I want you to
follow
understand what I'm saying. So you need to tell me what you think I'm saying.
I
Okay, thank you.
don't.
So don't nod your head in understanding. You're lying to me. I'm so hard on you. I'm sorry. Okay. When you nod your head in the space like this, it communicates that you understand. But if you don't understand and you still nod your head, that is pride. So just tell me if you don't understand so I can say it in a different way. Evolving. What? Oh, Dennis is so wonderful. Okay. Because you act as a service to the class. I say this every time I'm here. Maybe someone else doesn't know what I'm saying when I say evolve. But your humility to say, I have no idea what you're saying, helps the class consciousness grow. Okay? Are you leaving us? Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm worried about her too.
Early, but thank you. for
Okay.
welcoming me.
Thanks for popping in.
I'd love to come again. I'm sorry, I was trying to sneak out.
It's impossible. It's a very intimate space.
I apologize. My bestie's a wild one. She's a free spirit.
Honestly, if I have a reaction, it's my responsibility to look at it, right?
Thank you. This is a great class. I really think it's great.
Thank you for putting your love in here. We feel it.
Good. I gotta put some love into something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am trying to put some love.
She's like a block away on the street.
Courtney?
Yeah, like a block away, right?
Make sure you take her canteen. Her water bottle.
Thank you.
Blessings.
I would love to come again sometime.
Okay. So, what does it mean to evolve, Jacob? What do you think? And don't try to talk like me or like anybody else. Try to talk like Jacob. Becoming a more embodiment of what you really are. A fuller embodiment of what you really are. Okay. Okay. What do you think it means to evolve?
To grow. It's to grow from what you once were, as we evolve into, a higher state of consciousness or higher state of knowing yourself, yeah, it's just growth, I would think.
Beautiful. It's growth. And you're growing into a more truer version of you. True meaning love, peace, joy, non-reacting. There's no need to fight life. The ego fights life. So surrendering. The ego's like this child. You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me. I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna get you. Unaffected bitch. Come here. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you. And then evolving is, yeah, you hurt me. You don't need to fight. Okay? All right. I hope that was helpful. Okay. The part that I wanted to get to, class. Don't you feel like I should have like a wizard hat on? Wouldn't I look cute with a little witchy hat?
You would.
Diana's like, yeah, you would. You would look good too. Did that explanation of evolving help?
It did.
I mean, you already know what it is, but
I do. Wisdom and patience. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Knowing you're the teacher and the student always. Yes.
you know, Diana, there's space for teachers here if you ever want to teach a class.
I need to move to PA is what I'm hearing.
Where are you?
I'm in Colorado.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Can I ask you what book you're reading from, darling?
Yeah. So this is available on Amazon. It's called The Wisdom of Shaktima.
Very nice. Thank you.
And the woman that wrote it is this like Southern accent, small woman, and she's awesome. And yeah. And the Shaktima is actually an organization that you can go to for evolution guidance, should you want to. They have teachers there for free. Well, nothing's for free. You have to sell your soul. And then I'm also reading from the Esoteric World of Chakras,
Very nice.
also available on Amazon.
Thank you.
So I can send you the Amazon links if you want.
Okay.
Because they're pretty reasonably priced.
I am a
All right.
sponge. I am a sponge. I love knowledge. I'm always absorbing.
I feel you. I do too. And when it comes from a place of loving yourself rather than hating yourself, it's just a whole other experience, isn't it?
Yep, yep.
But we have to do both, I guess. Okay, so the part that I wanted to talk about was when Jacob asked me why I talked about the potential. So let me read from here. This is so much fun. So I used to be a preschool teacher, and I would read them stories. And it was awesome. Because I got to be expressive and stupid and just like, and I'm having a flashback to that moment. Okay. Except you're not preschoolers. You're adults with expectations of me.
We're just pretending to be adults. It's okay.
Yeah. Alrighty, dears. So, cycle of an emotion. During our lifetime, we experience a cycle of birth, growth, adulthood, old age, and similar to our life cycle, each emotion we experience has a life cycle. That means an emotion can die too. So we have a reaction, and an emotion begins, increases. So when I said we're going to die, Dennis, there could have been a reaction inside of you, and then an emotion could begin, increases and grows, reaches maturity, and finally manifests into the body so that you can feel it. However, if we integrate this emotion completely while it's still an emotion, the potentiality of this emotion can decrease. The power of this emotion can decrease and be dissolved before it manifests physically. Okay? So you can just cut that by the bud. That's what we're talking about. What if we could cut it by the bud so that it didn't have to turn into a breakup? You know? Or feelings of like, of intensity. What if we cut it where it started so that life didn't have to manifest it into the physical world? Okay? Potentials. That's what I mean when I say a potential. It's like a bubble inside. Oh, this could happen. Oh, or this could happen. Oh, or this could happen. Oh, that could happen. Okay? In kind of parallels with potential of seeing someone's.
I'm off of that.
Okay.
I want to focus on other things that are supposed to come up, not the same. But thank you.
Okay. Brittany's scary. Okay. So here's an example of potentials from the perspective of anger. Okay? You're angry, Joelle. Angry little girl. You're going to kill everybody. I can't wait. Okay. A potential. Did you know that anger and joy, same frequency?
Oh, I can understand it.
Yeah. Anger is so funny. When you're not involved in the anger, someone's looks very funny when they're mad. You know what I mean? Doesn't that look funny?
Well, I've seen your face.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, is that funny?
Because you were the receiving end.
Oh.
I'm talking about a third party.
Not outside.
Yeah! Third party be cracking up. Okay. A potential is generated from an experience. It is a potentiality that might manifest in life through multiple experiences. To enable understanding of that, we include an example about anger. Anger is caused by a disappointment that was ignored. We push this disappointment down inside us so that we would not have to feel the pain of this experience. And this potential grew, becoming frustration and then anger. So underneath anger is frustration. Underneath frustration is a deep disappointment. Can you relate to this? You're not just nodding your head so I move on. Now I'm going to have to check. I'm going to have to make sure. Okay. So we push this disappointment down inside us so that we would not have to feel the pain of this experience, and this potential grew, becoming frustration and then anger. So do you remember a beautiful day when the weather was good and you felt good? Don't be dramatic. You have a memory of this. Then something happened. Maybe it was a small event, but anger manifested in the physical plane, and you expressed anger in only a few seconds. You never saw the origin of this anger that erupted from within without any warning. You didn't know it was going to come. You didn't wake up that day and be like, I'm going to be pissed at 2 o'clock today. It is difficult to perceive what causes anger. Okay? So what is anger? Anger is the violent exterior expression of the sadness or disappointment that we have inside. Let me say that again. Anger is the violent exterior expression of the sadness and the disappointment we have inside. In other words, anger is disappointment that we want to eject from our body. We want it out of our body. So we project it onto others, the world, and ourselves. There are different ways to explain anger, and in this section we want to explore some of these ways. Maybe you can relate to some things more than others. So anger is the animal part of us that wants to react. Mostly, we are unaware of this animal part inside us. It's hidden. Not Oreo, though. Oreo's not angry.
She was looking at you when you did that.
She's like,
Mostly, we are unaware of this animal part inside us. It's hidden below some form of denial, fear, shame, and pride, and sometimes below arrogance. We refer to this as the subconscious, but with experience and exhaustive observation, like hours of just sitting in shame. Can you imagine it without your cell phone, Dennis?
Yeah.
We refer to this as the subconscious, but with experience and exhaustive observation, we can see into this realm. We call this hidden realm a potential. Does that make sense? So, yeah, I can. Thank you for asking me to. We refer to this as the subconscious. So the where the anger comes from. We don't see it. It's subconscious. It's underneath our awareness. It's like our eyes are only so big. We can't see everything. Okay? So with experience and exhaustive observation, so if we let ourselves experience the anger, and then we look what's underneath it by observing it, we can see into this realm. Oh, that's why that happened. And that realm is the potential. Like, we can see its origin. Where did it come from? Why is it there? Because there's a potential in it inside. And potentials form at birth. They form in the womb. Understand? So this is a terrible image. They really clip art here. But so if you imagine like bubbles inside of a container, Like fizzies. Carbonation. 2 words. 3 syllables. Okay. 4 syllables. Okay, if you imagine bubbles inside, you shake that shit up, okay? It gonna come out. It's gonna explode. You have a potential of joy inside. You're gonna, an experience in life is gonna happen. It gonna explode. You have a potential of abandonment inside. Life's gonna happen. It's going to come to the surface. Understand? So, what integration can do is nip it in the butt. Go so deep that even if you're shaken, it doesn't come out.
Teach me, Obi-Wan. Teach me the ways of the Force.
Grasshopper, we're going to practice now.
I need this integration you speak of.
Yes, integration is it. Because we're integrating the bubbles. We're integrating. Okay. What the hell's next? Roles. Roles and tools. Okay. The ego wants love. We all are pulled by this need to be loved. Need to be loved. Love is the currency. And it can be expressed through attention. It can be expressed through laughing. It can be expressed through touch. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. All you need is love. Do, 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 do. But if the source of your love is temporary, you're bound to be disappointed. If the source of your love is outside of you, it's not going to be there all the time because it's moving. It's moving. So we need to develop self-sourced love. Self-sourced love. Okay? Love from inside for no reason. We can do that after we integrate something. It means we're clearing the space and we can put love there in its place. And we're going to do that together. So don't worry about remembering. I'm just saying, with this mechanism of needing love, we play roles. We can be a persecutor, invoking our freedom against something. We persecute it. We can be a savior. Oh, please. You don't have to feel this. Let me do it for you. Victim. Everything's against me. I'm being super fucking dramatic. What I'm trying to show you is that you can be playful with the ego. Okay? Be playful with yourself. To feel like the victim, right? Let's feel it for a minute. Sometimes feeling like the victim is a compassionate thing to feel. And sometimes you are a victim in a circumstance. But if we are choosing to consciously evolve, evolving on purpose, growing on purpose, okay, we need to be able to take away the story and look directly at the ego and what our ego is doing to make us feel this, okay? And sometimes we feel like the victim. Even though in the world, yes, we could be labeled as a victim, right? Inside, to consider yourself as a victim is not completely true. Does that make sense? So like in the world, there can be a character here or there, and they can be the persecutor, and they can be the victim, right? But we are going beyond that story. We're going beyond that idea, and we're being honest. Why do I feel like the victim? And it's to feel love. And does that feel good? Does it feel good to get love that way? Probably not. So we're integrating that role into our identities, into our souls, into how we are in the world, so that we are not taken by the force of a victim, taken by the power of a victim. Because when you're in victim role, okay, I lost some of you. When we're in victim role, right? We can't get shit done. We're just, if you imagine a victim, stagnant, looking down, right? There's no movement. So to overcome victimhood, we feel, oh, okay, I will be responsible for this emotion. I'm still scared of you. Okay? So what happens when we are in savior role? I said it a little bit to Brittany earlier. When we're in savior role, study the mechanics. I don't want to give you the answers. But we only have so much time and I want you to benefit. The struggle's real. Okay, let's just do it together really fast. We're going to do the 4-step process with the roles. Okay? And you're going to enlighten us with your wisdom after we're done by looking at each role. Okay? So breathe. I would encourage you to close your eyes so that you're not distracted. Inhabit. Go inside. You are in your body. Your beautiful, beautiful body. Feel. How do I feel right now? Let's just take a baseline. Inventory. What's going on in there? We're moving so much today. How do I feel? Ask yourself in your head, how do I feel? Do you feel excited? Do you feel interested? Curious? Doesn't matter if you know the word. Do you feel scared? Do you feel anything? What do you feel? And if a name doesn't come up, that's okay. Just feel whatever's there. And after you really get a taste of the feeling, observe. Observe that feeling. Watch it. Just watch it. When I say the word savior, the role of a savior, where in your life have you ever acted as a savior to someone? Breathe. Inhabit. Feel. And observe. Can you trace this savior role down to fear, shame, or pride? Were you being a savior so that you didn't have to feel abandonment, rejection, or guilt? What was the purpose of imposing savior onto someone? Maybe they asked you to and you wanted to be loved. Maybe you decided that they didn't have what it took to handle what was going on, so you went there. You did it for them. We're just we're feeling, we're breathing, inhabit, feel, and observe. Good. When I say the word persecutor, what happens inside? When have you been a persecutor? When have you decided, or not decided, when have you used the role of persecutor to get something that you wanted? Maybe you persecute yourself right now for that savior example that you're not letting go of. Just observe the mechanics of persecutor. And why did the ego act like that in that moment? Maybe you were in an argument, you were having an argument with someone, and you decided to be a persecutor of you. Persecutor is projecting. It's blaming. Persecutor is judging. It's being rude. Why were you being rude? I obviously struggle with this one. I can be a persecutor myself, though. Being critical. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's the juice. Why were you being critical? Where is that coming from? Okay, so the first, just let yourself feel what it is like to be a persecutor. Does your chest get tight? Does your stomach turn? Do you feel a certain way when you're playing this role? Is your identity wrapped up? Do you have to be a persecutor to be yourself? Do you have to be a savior to be yourself as you know it? Okay? We're just observing. We're playing around here. Very good. And finally, victim. Where in your life have you felt like a victim? Oh, go there. With your consciousness, don't forget your consciousness. With your breath. We're moving, we're touching these roles inside of us. Where have we felt like a victim? And what does it feel like to be the victim? Notice, observe. Oh, my shoulders get tense. I feel like crying. Just observe. No judgment. Invite. Your soul is with you right now. Your soul is not judging you for feeling this way. Your soul is observing. It's actually excited that you're experiencing yourself, because that's the soul's roller coaster, is experience. And it's loving you so much right now. Breathe. Inhabit. Feel. And observe. Maybe being the victim is how you gained love. Maybe getting sick is how people gave you attention. Oh, okay. You're taking back the choice now. Just by looking at this. You're doing so good. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, we're going to do a vocal breath. I'll demonstrate. That's where we breathe in. You don't have to be that sensual, but do it with me. Breathe in. Very good. Whenever we go inside like this, it's important to hear your voice, because it breaks apart the density of the emotion. Okay, so breathe in again. Do it again. Beautiful. Okay. Imagine every cell in your body is a yellow smiley face. Do it! Quick! Every cell in your body, it's cracking up. And it's having fun. And it's just like one of those belly laughs, you know what I mean? Like, feel joy, your own joy, for no reason. Joy. Joy. Beautiful. Okay. Now every cell in your body is a red, juicy heart. And your cells are hugging each other. Hug yourself if you want. Please let your body know that you're here, that it's not alone. Being prudent with the body is communicating with it in a way it feels. It feels love through touch. Touch. And every cell in your body is hugging each other. And your brain is sending red hearts all the way down to your belly. And your belly's saying, I love you, brain. And the brain is saying, I love you. I love you. And you just feel love for no reason at all. Oh, love. Feels so good. Your cells love you. Your soul, every breath is a love affair. It's the soul saying, I love you. I love you. Love for no reason. Your own love. You are so powerful. Do you see how you can modulate your emotions just with a couple breaths and a couple visualizations? You powerful motherfuckers! Take a deep breath and open your eyes. I promise my drink is not spiked. This is who I am when I teach this stuff. Do you see how this is hard? This is hard for the average person. The average person has no idea how to do this. You know, we have to have compassion. We have to. We can't hold others at the same level of expectation that we hold ourselves at now that we have this process. Like, go easy on them, please. You know, the world's not going to be easy on them. So we need to be easy on them. Okay. And ourselves. Dennis, you making eye contact. I love it. I feel you here with me. Wow. Do you feel it? Ah. Oh, my heart's like, ba-boom. Whoa. You know, like one of those cartoon hearts. How was that for you? Not as terrible as abandonment, huh?
No, abandonment
Abandonment was
was horrible.
like, motherfucker. Y'all were like, why am I here right now? Who is this bubbly, chubby, curly-haired Italian woman? What's she doing right now? How are you feeling?
I'm present. Feeling, I don't know how to feel. Because,
I don't know how to feel.
because honestly, like when you were talking, you're going through those roles and stuff like that of the savior and like victim and prosecutor. You know, you're putting yourself in these situations that you felt. You know.
Yeah.
So you're trying to like put like me going back to the places I went to.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and I'm
But that's
sorry.
why you did the smiley faces and then the hearts
Yeah.
after to like kind of push it away. But honestly, you know.
And honestly, it's how I was taught to approach this was you use the story only until you get the taste of the mask.
Yeah.
And then you let everyone else dissolve, fade away. Because it's you with you. Okay? I probably didn't make that clear. I'll make that more clear.
Oh no, it was kind of clear because I was like, how like you went through all the masks and then you were like, now think of these happy faces on every cell of your body. And then they went into the hearts and it's like, now you're distracting yourself.
Well, you have to,
that.
and what we did was we filled up the body with your own joy and your own love. Right? Because before the integration, what's filling up the body are these masks of the ego, right? So you're creating space inside by looking at it. your consciousness dissolves it. Okay. Pay attention to your feet. Don't move them. Pay attention to your feet. Be conscious of your feet. Okay. Are your feet comfortable? Are they hot? Are they cold? You get information when you pay attention to something, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're getting information when we pay attention to the emotion. You can move your fucking feet now, Dennis. So yeah, so the information that you gather, right, transforms the emotional power into wisdom, because it's an experience now, because you're letting it affect you. That makes sense? So you have to fill that space up with your own, well, you don't have to, it's recommended, or else you just go into depression.
Yeah, wallow in your own sadness.
Yeah, fill it up with your own self-sourced love and joy. So the next,
Real quick, back whenever you were talking about like being in a sense of, I'm not trying to go back to the guilt thing because it was after that, but you said something about like where you just feel like, oh God, like what if I looking at your life and like what am I doing? I forget where it was, but I was gonna ask you.
was it the victim?
No, it was before that. But I was gonna ask you if being in that space is like, I feel like a transmutational process, because you have to like sit with it and feel the effects that you're putting out into the world whenever you could be doing so much better, but then like the forgiveness comes in and then it's like a release and like a spark. So it is. Okay, because after that I was like, no,
That's what we're doing.
No, that was deception in my mind, but then
No,
you
we're
just kinda
transmuting
answered
the ego into higher consciousness.
it. Okay, good, cool.
That's why it's important to be
I'm
conscious.
glad that you just like,
first.
clarified it right now, because
I'm glad I did too, because Jesus Christ, there's so much information to go over, and I don't know how you people understand things. I don't even know how I understand it, and there's so many different ways to say it, and I'm trying really hard to make sense when it's kind of beyond the mind what we're doing, and it's like a really difficult thing.
No, it makes no sense.
Okay.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks. Validation. Yeah. Alrighty. Diana, you with us? You're so beautiful. Alrighty. What are we going to do next? The tools. Oh, the tools are really fun. Okay, K is the... Oh my god, it's already 5 o'clock. Jeez, we've been here for 3 hours already. Doesn't it feel good? This is fun! Okay, I'm going to talk a lot. And we're probably going to... Do we need another break after the tools, or can we keep going? I feel like we just took a break, but we needed a break after the attachment. I mean, after the abandonment, didn't we? But I don't think we need one right now. Okay. You let me know. So, the 3 tools. Oh, the ego loves tools. Particularly feminine tools. Feminine people. So we females, okay, hi. We are masters of manipulation and control because we physically lack power, like in a physical sense. Okay? So men are masters of power and control too. But do you understand how manipulation, control, and power, they are ways to get something that you want, to like a tool is like a knife. Like a knife can be used to stab something or can be used to cut something. It just depends on the motive and like what you desire to happen next. So when we look at our shadow, when we look at our when we look at oh man, this is where I can talk about the shadow and the light of each mask. Did I mention there's a lot of information in this? Okay, so every mask, when it is projected inside, okay, has a virtue with it. When it's projected outside, it has the shadow aspect, okay? Usually I don't talk about this until like years into the practice because I don't want you to just jump to the virtue just yet, but we can. Why not? So again, there's a shadow and a light to each of these masks, okay? For example, power. The shadow aspect of it is taking over someone's freedom, imposing your freedom on someone else, okay? Imposing your desires on someone else without their consent, for example. And that can be done, let's see here, in power. The shadow part of power is picking someone up that doesn't want to be picked up. If you're a small person and you've ever been picked up, and you don't want to be picked up, it's annoying. And it's that person's, you know, like power is being, that's just a playful example. Let's see here. Oh, in society today, power. Oh my golly, the Roe versus Wade thing. That was revoked. That is a form of imposing power, right? Taking away someone's free will. That doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel very good at all. But then the power inside, when we internalize the power, oh, we have self-esteem, we have confidence. Like there's a light there. When it's projected inside, power is good. So power itself, it's not good or bad, but it depends on its trajectory. If it's outside, if it's imposed, versus if it's inside and embraced. And we can do that with all of the masks, if we wanted to. But you're looking at me like that's kind of too much. You're fine. Okay. Maybe I think it's too much.
No, I like it. I feel like I'm actually familiar with this already.
Good. Control. You need to control the spices and the temperature of the pan. I'm using a cooking example because you cook. Okay. You need to control, you know, the knife to cut the ingredients. It's phenomenal. Control's good. It's not bad. But if you try to control someone else, oh, I don't know, with your gestures or your voice or your intentions, you know, your egocentric game, then it's not going to be as nice. You're not going to get as many friends if you play that way in the sandbox. Okay? And then manipulation. Again, we manipulate objects to craft things. We can manipulate. Manipulation in itself is not bad, but when we try to manipulate others, there's a karmic effect. And karma is just cause and effect. It's like when the karma of my hands coming together is a clap sound and a sensation on my hands. So the karma of manipulating is the effect that you had on someone, it will happen to you too. Okay. So if you karmically impose your joy on someone, you're going to have a karma of joy. Okay? Karma is weird, but manipulation is associated with karma in that way. Okay? Alrighty. Questions? Comments? Let me feel. I would say it's a way of like we did with our energy. We modulated our energy from feeling the roles to feeling love and joy. We kind of manipulated them in a way. So we can manipulate our state for that moment. Say we have a task and we're really tired. Our manipulation inside can be jumping up and down and like changing their state of being. So it's kind of like manipulating the state of being. tuning it. Yeah. Let's see if I can figure out the virtues for the rest of them too. Persecutor, inside, and savior and victim inside. Those are
I noticed during our last exercise that the persecutor and the victim like feed into each other with my procrastination and everything. Because I have like such high self-expectations that are unattainable because they keep moving.
mm-hmm.
That I persecute aspect of self that feels victimized, and it's just this whole
Yeah,
cycle.
it can be a cycle. Absolutely. That's really good awareness. Mm-hmm. I wish I had. I wonder if the alphabet is in here. So part of my Mahajrya training is Kabbalah. And in Kabbalah, we have an alphabet. And each letter of the alphabet is also associated with the masks of the ego. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Abe Gita, Hevasa, Hreti, Yukara, Menu, Salapeta, Kodashita. And with each mask, there's also a virtue, and it's like a cheat sheet for someone like me who's teaching a class and doesn't know all the virtues off the top of her little head. I'm only human. Mahajrya. Sure. It's not in this book. To be continued. How about we put a pin in the whole virtue thing? Because I need the Hebrew alphabet to look at that.
How is Kabbalah connected to Buddhism?
So Melchizedek, Buddha came before Melchizedek. Honestly, they're only combined because of the tradition that I'm from that I studied. We combine the the five spiritual masters' teachings into one tradition. And so it's Buddhism from Sakyamuni Buddha, Hinduism from Krishna, his teachings. We study the teachings of Melchizedek, which is the Kabbalah teachings. We study Christianity, Jesus. And honestly, if I had an altar of all the ascended masters that we studied from, it would make more sense. But I didn't think anyone would give a shit, so I didn't bring it.
I give a shit though.
You really do. Yeah.
I studied all of those and I didn't know they combined into one.
They can. Well, you can create your own tradition.
Yes, but like I didn't know that was specifically what this was.
Well, Mahajrya is the great field. So if you imagine standing in a field, there's no one path. So this guy, Mahajrya, who's a living spiritual master, he combined them all. And he has YouTube videos. And he's awesome. Maha, M-A-H-A, space, Vajra, V-A-J-R-A. His YouTube channel is I would in YouTube type in Mahajrya emotional integration. This is the process that he coined. He developed the masks, through his study. And he has hours of explaining this. Hours. And he does it in a way less Suzie way. Like he explains it in like a really if you want to evolve, you're going to study with me kind of way. but someone did have a cell phone go off during one of his classes on YouTube, and he said, "Kill the phone." So it's really funny that. So when I did the opening prayers, I invoked all the presence of the five masters from this tradition, along with Green Tara, because I'm not Mahajrya, I'm Suzie, and I like Green Tara. But that kind of took the space of having their pictures present. When we have an altar of, usually when pictures are present, I mean, we have a Buddha statue, but that was here anyway. But it represents the heaven of the five elements. Would you be interested in doing like a Mahajrya like introduction type of a course?
Absolutely.
I'm interested.
Alrighty, we'll put that in the books, because there's a whole series of, maybe we can ordain you eventually if you wanted to. You want to be ordained?
Yeah.
So to be ordained in this tradition, all you have to do is do the 10 introductory mantras, which you've all learned at least 2 of them from the times that you haven't. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Seriously. You just have to charge them, and then have a desire to teach, and that will bring you qualified to the Adhyapaka stage. From Adhyapaka, you can go into Deep Chakra by having at least 6 months of teaching under your belt with some students. And then the Deep Chakra is the full priest status, which is what I am. But then there's another level above me called the Acharya, where you've mastered something, and you get recognition from the Sangha for that mastery, and then you get ordained into the Acharya-ship. Diana, you want to be a priest? Diana's like in her own world.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah!
I was
I'd
just,
be honored to start that process if we want to start that.
that would be really cool.
I would just have, you just initiate. You honestly, you don't even need me, please.
What about you?
You don't need me. You can do it on your own. By watching Maha online and typing into him and saying, "Hey, I met Suzie." Ramshraddha is my soul name. I can. You really have a. I'm just shocked. Because I'm pretty nerdy about this stuff. So meeting other nerds is like kind of cool.
People who are set in the label, I am a Christian, I am this, can only see that. But if I don't label myself, then I can see the connections. So that's just what intrigues me about that.
Okay. Yeah, so 2 acharyas in the Mahajrya. I had asked for it. They met me, and they said, "Oh, do you want a soul name?" And I said, "Sure." And they gave it to me based on. So when you study the mechanics of, wow, there's just so much to say, because I don't want to simplify it, but I am. You know what I mean? I'm going to
Talk
simplify
more
it.
about it later.
So the Mahajrya is a combination of, it's a Buddhist tradition because we have a focus on the way that Buddha evolved. Like his structure of teaching was to sit, master yourself, observe yourself. We like to sit and meditate. Also, it's approachable and it's not so crazy as saying a Christian tradition. So, but the only reason that's why we communicate it as Mahajrya Buddhist Tradition. But again, we study the teachings of these 5 masters, and we learn. So we could do a class on the 5 masters, but wow, Suzie, tone it in, honey. Okay, so Buddha teaches us simplicity, and he teaches us balance and soft compassion. Jesus can teach us forgiveness, charity, grace. Melchizedek teaches us discipline, severity, also simplicity. I'm answering your question. Just give me a minute. And then Krishna teaches us non-action and celebration, and also he's presented as an avatar because he's done enough incarnated divinity to where his skin changes and he has supernatural ability. Same was Jesus. He was 100% human, 100% divine. And that's how he healed people and stuff. And then Mahajrya teaches us the quantum metaphysics. And so with all of this in one, we are taught how to be personal growth, spiritual practice, how to be a modern day monk in the world, where we're not in a temple all the time, but we're having families and we have jobs and stuff. And some of the people in Mahajrya create matter, teleport, levitate, but it's these powers that go beyond the physical that the ego reacts to. So we start, honestly, with an emotional integration with the idea to train the ego to be available to these possibilities. So it's kind of a sequence of things. Yeah, it's cool. I'm not levitating anytime soon. I just want to be happy.
But your name specifically.
Oh yeah, Ram Shraddha.
Ram.
Ram Shraddha. I say it. Duh. Yeah. What about it? How did I get? Okay, so Acharya means you've been in the tradition for a minute, and you gain the supernatural ability. This is where I was going. Thank you so much. You're so beautiful. You gain the ability to experience someone from their soul, and you've learned enough Sanskrit to label the taste of their soul with a Sanskrit. And the purpose of a soul name is to narrow one's focus in that lifetime. So my focus for Ram Shraddha is to embody, to integrate, to feel the shadow and light of pleasure in devotion. So I'm going to experience, it explains a lot of the trauma that goes on in one's life too. Because you have a reason, oh, this is why my soul's here. My soul is here to feel pleasure and devotion. So, and without a little heartbreak here and there, I would not know how much devotion I really love to be in.
Duality.
The permanent love that is always present versus this contingent love on, will you live with me and do this for me and make me feel this way? No, I want to focus on what is permanent. That which was here before me, which was here after me. Yeah. That's my game. That's my jam. That's why I'm 28 teaching this. Okay. Now that you're all in love with me, can we move on? Oh, God. Okay. Expectations. False hope. False hope is you have this fantasy in mind to a point where you deny the reality of things. False hope, I hope to God that this is what happens. and you tell yourself that that is what's happening, when in reality you experience suffering because it's not based in truth. It's based in your fantasy. It's based in false hope. Hope is beautiful. Hope is necessary. But it's that false hope. It's like that pretend hope that is, again, not rooted in truth, not rooted in an actual chance of happening, you know?
Mhm.
And then over certainty. This will definitely happen. I'm definitely going to make this much money this weekend. I'm absolutely going to. This is over certain. Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to love me exactly how I want to be loved. Oh, yeah. This is going to happen. Over certainty. where in reality, you don't really know what's going to happen. Right? So you're lying to yourself. We lie. Not you. Well, yes, but me too. Okay. The ego lies to itself by having the mask of over certainty. You're over certain that there's going to be like a shit ton of people here and it's going to be great. No, this is what I can manage. This is perfect. Okay, egocentrism is you behave in a way that you only gain from that action. Only you can only see how you're going to gain from it. You do not care how it affects others. The seat's open, you sit down, someone comes by and says, that was my seat, and you say, I don't care. Okay? Because you got a seat and that's all that matters. Egocentric. These ways of moving, being pulled. Questions? And so you have an expectation. So let's just really quick. What we've covered so far. Okay? Let's see here. What's an easy way of doing this? So you took a class with Suzie. You can identify, oh yeah, man, I'm afraid. I'm very afraid. So I'm afraid of something. Oh, I wonder what this fear is protecting me from. Okay, you feel into the fear and you say, oh, it's protecting me from a feeling of rejection. I have a fear of being rejected by this person. And so I'm going to act like the victim. Because, and the way that I'm going to act like the victim, because that's how I know to receive love from the outside, is I'm going to manipulate this person with the expectation of over certainty that they are going to love me because I'm a victim. And that's what has happened in the past, that I got love by being a victim in the past. So you know, the mechanics of it all connects. Yes.
Is it typically subconscious?
Is what typically subconscious?
Like
This happens in a
Yeah. So it's all like deeper things that's how it shows up.
yeah. That's why the master involved in this is Buddha, because he loved to sit and he loved to look at things, and he was just like for a long time. Now, Krishna's teachings on evolving are way more active, way more action-oriented, but this is how, the Buddha evolved, basically. So, a one way. With some of Mahajra's severity, because he was like, we need to do this in an efficient way. So that's why he created this process. But life will show you this. Life will show you these mechanics if you want to see them, right? This is just a way that our minds can conceptually track why we behave the way we do, when we do, and the majority of the time it's to fill the needs. How about that segue? The 3 needs: to obtain a status, a degree, a certification, to accumulate. I want more love, more love, more love, more love. Oh, you didn't love me enough. I want more love, so I'm going to manipulate you. Or I'm going to not give you what you want so that I can get something from you. And yeah. Attain is another status. Attain, I want to be better than or more qualified so that I don't really have to feel the abandonment of my mom and, all that stuff. Which leads to our attachments. And these can go, we can go from the roles to the needs to the expectations. There's no like one way about this. But if you see the dotted line starts with the red, the 3 denials, which can lead you to the emotions, which can then lead you to the roles, the tools, the expectations, the 3 needs, finally ending up at why our particular egos behave the way they do. It's because of our attachments, our own personal attachments, physical attachments, emotional attachments, and mental attachments. Buddha was all about non-attachment. Because he knew that attachment to these ideas in our head, attachment to our emotional states, and attachment to physical objects, these are all temporary things. And his focus was what is permanent. Consciousness is permanent, right? Consciousness doesn't die. Energy doesn't die. So what are you attached to, Dennis, that makes you in this depressed state all the time?
I don't know.
Do you want to know?
Sure.
Do you want to do it together?
Do you know?
No, honey, I don't know. We would have to do it together as a class. You're just always willing to be the person.
Yeah.
I admire that about you, but we don't have to. This could be too raw for you.
Maybe.
It would just be a way to practice.
Yeah.
That's all. All right. No, honey, I don't know. I'm not going to do the work for you. Not going to save him. Because he doesn't need to be saved. Because if I think he needs to be saved, it's actually a judgment of my capacity to accept his form of evolution. Just saying! Okay. So, how are we feeling with this diagram? Does it make sense? Do you like the colors?
I love the color scheme, but no, it doesn't make sense because you can definitely put a lot of different situations. Then you can start where
You can explain everything with this.
Right. Yeah. So like you can put yourself in each roles from every part, like the part of your like honestly, like if I'm gonna think about okay, this is what happened between this, you put yourself in each one of these positions. Yeah, no, it's a very good map, and
And once the mind, beautiful, good. I'm glad that you understand it at the mental level. Beautiful. When we first start out with this process, we focus on identifying the 3 emotions. Okay? Those are the most simple to find at first. And then as you progress, you're going to find your particular emotional home, your particular ego pattern. Well, do you usually go into a victim role? So then you control and manipulate. You find what your typical pattern is, and then you integrate it at the physical level, which is hard to touch when you're alone. You have to kind of have a teacher with you, I'd say, to get to the physical parts of you that agreed to this way of interacting with life. But
Can you explain the difference between mental and emotional attachments?
so a mental attachment has to do with, say, a social structure. I have to be married by 30. Identity, yeah. An emotional attachment is can we have an example though?
Addiction of feelings. Addiction of feelings, emotional attachment.
whenever someone asks a question, it affects the whole consciousness of the class. It's so cool. We're co-creating together. Okay.
One more question. Will you do the 10 planes of being real quick?
I can do the 10 planes of being, and I can do it one better. I can write that shit down. Because I've already exhausted this little thing that I created for Oreo. So, let me type in the 10 planes of being.
Girl.
Diana, you are a trooper.
Thanks, man.
Not only did we start a little later, but you know, there's dialogue, and you're just with us. It's really nice.
I appreciate that you were able to figure out how to make it work. We need a bigger microphone next time so I can hear everybody.
Amen. I'll put that in the budget.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in. Mental, emotional, vital, and physical. So, Diana, in the chat, I have the 3 subcategories of the 10 planes of being described in terms of density. So divinity is the most purest density. We can't even see it. It's creator, creation, and interaction. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Okay.
It's the black matter.
Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. The womb space, the void.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as we go through the states of being, we can actually tell the story of creation. So that's kind of cool that you said that. And then the soul is...
I'm tapped in.
You're tapped in. Is consciousness, causality, karma. Causality and karma are interchangeable. And then wisdom. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I'm just doing it in the chat for Diana. Oh, honey, no, I'm not going to do that to you. Okay. And wisdom is just beyond the mental plane, just beyond the human plane, into experience. So the soul is always in curiosity, always wanting to experience. It's like a baby touching everything, tasting everything, a dog tasting everything, sniffing everything. The soul does not have a judgment between a heartbreak and an orgasm. It's constantly happy to have an experience, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what wisdom is, which you already know. But you can kind of karma, causality. Oh, this had to happen so that this happened. Oh, that will happen so that I could do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then consciousness is what we already experience when we are conscious of our breath. It's that idea of observing ourselves breathing. It's that presence, consciousness. Okay? And then the human plane's mental thoughts, constructs that shape our identity. The human is the ego. It's interchangeable with the word ego because it's dense and it's trained to be outside and survive. Humans always in survival. Soul doesn't care because it's going to have a body later on, you know?
Right, right.
So, yeah. So the physical is the most dense. And in terms of emotional integration, we start with the mental understanding of the ego. And then we find the emotion. So then we go into the second level of emotional integration, which is focusing on that emotion. Third level is you start to change like the course of things.
Perception and perspective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of can like rewrite your path in an expedited, very efficient way. What nature would have shown the body to experience in 20 years, you can, with your consciousness and practice, have yourself experience the equivalency in probably like 2 years. You know what I mean? Something like that. It's just expedited time. And yeah, those are the 10 planes of being.
Awesome sauce. Thanks so much.
Oh, and also when we breathe, where the first step of emotional integration is the physical. When we inhabit, it's the vital. Feeling is the acknowledging the emotional body, and then observing is using that mental lens to observe. Okay. I'm going to write that on this board now, and you're not going to be able to see it.
I'm going to write it down here. Thanks.
Write it down, Mama. Okay. I'm mooning ya. Okay.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome. Oh, do you see why we needed 4 fucking hours?
And you kind of rushed through the last 2.
Yeah, I did. I was done.
Like,
I'm tapped out.
Tapped out.
Tapped out. You want to tap that? All right. Dennis, what you feeling, hon? You okay? Need anything? Need a little massage? I could use a massage if you're offering. Notice manipulation. Right before your eyes. Want a massage? No. Oh, well, if you're getting one, I'll take one. Man, Joel, you be experiencing shit. You can handle it. Joel, how are you? How is this? Yeah, so this is landing pretty good for you, huh?
Yeah, all of this. I wrote down a lot of things I want to like mention real quick.
Okay.
Because, you know, I said like, I was saying earlier how pride was my issue, but I think I've confused pride with arrogance. I think arrogance is actually, I don't think I have as much pride.
Okay.
You know? And then I also was like contemplating like anger versus willpower, because I have anger but it's not violent and it actually takes away my ability to do things. So yeah, this has been really nice for me. So I've been like really diving into things.
Well, the moral, though.
Yeah. What's the source of anxiety, would you say? Like anxiousness, like, or just like the like that in the ego that just makes you just think and think.
There are various forms of anxiety. There's anxiety in the physical, emotional, and mental planes. And it's often just a rejection or resistance to being here and now. Sure. You have an expectation that the now should be different. Yeah. So you resist. I have an addiction in my phone. Oreo be taking my heart. You have an addiction to your phone?
I do.
That
and
causes anxiety.
it does cause anxiety. It makes it very hard to be in the present moment. Like I'm fine for 2 hours, but like I even notice like me sitting here, like I'm so focused in the moment for 2 hours, but when we're I haven't looked at my phone for 4 hours. I'm starting to get a little ticky. Like
Very good awareness. Very good awareness.
yes, I feel like I've always had awareness. I feel like I've always been going through. I've never not let myself feel something, kind of thing. Like I've never rejected it. If anything, I've gotten mad at people for not feeling things because I've just been doing it all my life. You know.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Maybe integration can help lessen the turbulence.
Yes. And bring in the stillness and bring in the simplicity.
Yeah. You like Buddha?
I love Buddha.
Could always meditate with Buddha.
I really like tonight.
Hey Jacob, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, buddy. But I'll see what I can do. That was a passive way of saying you might want to move.
Really, because I didn't hear that. I was just gonna wait till you were done and then do it.
Oh, okay. It's nice. I don't have to sustain you very much. It's very good. Yeah. My first class here, oh man, it was nothing but fireworks and craziness and entertainment. This is different, no? This is different. This is more serious.
Our second one too together was
The second one was more advanced too. Yeah.
He's not.
Oh, it was
Lauren knew him. They were friends.
I brought him.
Yeah.
Wait, let me think. I forget his name often because he doesn't seem like who he is. I know. I don't know why it's not.
Probably because it was meant to stay in that moment, and I'm just greedy. I'm a greedy bitch.
I talked with him afterwards, and he was like diving into the mantras on his own. And
Yeah, he was totally into it. So we're going to list these in order of density. 10 being the densest, the most physical. You can feel it, you can touch it, taste it. Physical, dense, weight, heavy. Okay? Then, from the physical, we have the vital. Vitality. You ever just, you're in bed all day and you still don't have the will to move because you have low vitality? Honey, get a chair. For the love of God. Your legs are killing you, your back hurts, and there's a dozen chairs over there. Don't know why you're doing this to yourself.
Don't act like you know me.
Okay. Much less dense, more subtle is the emotional body. Still noticeable if you tune into it, but you kind of have to have that will. You have to want to feel that emotional body. The physical's in your face, like duh, you can see it. Okay. And then the mental. So we have a body, it's animated with our vitality. We have emotions that move us or keep us still because they're dense emotions. And we have our thoughts, our mind. We can observe them. Our constructs of who we are. Identity, our self-concept. We have our five senses. This is the human. I present to you a human. Okay. Questions? Jesus. I can just talk forever. All right, keep going, Susie. We're going to go into wisdom. Emotional integration is a process of wisdom. Wisdom is experience. Someone can tell you that the oven's hot. You can read that the oven is hot. You can see that the oven looks hot. Okay? But until you touch it and experience what it feels like to be hot, it has not registered in your body that it is hot. Okay? So trust your experiences. You will have many people trying to be your guru, many people saying, follow me, be this, do that. Your lived experience is your master. Your lived experience is what you can trust. Trust the energy. Trust your intuition. Okay? Just because Suzie says she's an ordained priest doesn't mean jack shit. Okay? You need to trust the effect that you have in her classes. Trust your feeling in her classes. Do you know what I mean? Is she legit? That's what I'm saying. Alrighty, let me go into karma.
I would trust you to do an ordained course that I would want to take part in over anything.
No, same. Seriously, same. Yeah, go
want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. So causality is that aspect where you kind of look at your life as a bird's eye view and you're like, holy shit. If that guy didn't break my heart, I would not be in hospice. I would not have this job that I have now. Another example, if my mom didn't have her experiences as a child, she would not have reared me, parented me the way that she did, which would not have led me down a personal growth path, which would not have enabled me to help someone in this moment. Okay, we find the path. We find the reason. Because consciousness happens on purpose. It's not like we're here to suffer. That's why Christianity pisses me off. Can I just, a little sidebar. Diana, here I go on my rant. Can you hear me, Mama? Sin is the most controlling bullshit concept that anybody with a manipulative, vindictive agenda can have on an entire people. Okay, that's it. That's my rant. Okay, what the hell's number 4? Consciousness. Oh yeah, I wasn't conscious right there. Okay, consciousness. Aware that you are aware. Conscious of your breath. Being conscious that you are conscious. You can do it. Thinking, observing your thought, observing you observing your thought. Who needs like drugs when you can do that? Right? Observe. I'm up there. Okay?
Not gonna lie, I think psychedelics taught me a bit.
Okay, great. Good. Alrighty. Joelle, that's awesome. Maybe we can partake together one day.
That would be wonderful.
I don't know why. I'm very sober. I grew up in a very sober household.
Yeah, well,
Do all of
it's
this.
ceremony too. It's a sacred thing. I don't even look at it as a drug. I really look at it as a mindset.
Amen.
Yeah.
Alrighty, dears. So then the topmost subtle planes of our being are our divine aspects, where we are totally responsible. I have a friend. This is going to be triggering. Let it trigger. I have a friend who was being forcibly taken, being raped. And in the process, she saw how the man that was doing this, it is exactly his evolutionary stage to do what he's doing, and she was in a state of forgiveness the whole time. It's possible. Okay? You can have the capacity to be beyond the laws of our land. We can be in the world and not of the world. Okay? So that's the creator role is, man, I'm responsible for everything. I got this. But don't jump there, because if you're not practiced there, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm responsible for everything. So please, be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. The creator role is also, you're going to create your own cup of coffee, and you're going to put exactly what you want in it, and it's going to be good. Please. I have to be careful with this crowd. All right. The creation is that, again, from void in the beginning of time, it was nothing. It had a desire to be something. That's a creation. How it interacts is the Holy Spirit. It's my spirit. It's the soul. It's find you, dear?
I don't want to rush out of here, but I have another dog, and I'm like.
You need to rush. We've been here
But I
forever.
don't want to. I want to spend more time together.
But those are the 10 planes of being.
Attachment.
Oh! Okay, it's okay to attach as long as you learn to detach too.
Fine, I'll take it.
I have so much to teach, so much to share. Thank you so much for letting me do this. Every time I teach, it directly influences me as well. So thank you for being here and letting me yell at you for 4 straight hours. I think that concludes the class. We could do the whole map, but I'm kind of fatigued, and I don't think it's necessary. I think we have a pretty decent introduction to emotional integration. Right?
You're welcome. Thanks. I love you. Okay. I love everyone in this room. Thanks for being with me, everyone, and experiencing this together.
Wait, Joelle, we gotta take a photo before you go.
Okay. Totally.
Hey, Diana, can I put you in a photo?
Well, you can attempt it. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.